Is this thing on? Let's begin. Hello and welcome to part 2 of the Twisted T build, a mix of a small Voron Trident called the Tiny-T and the Sidepack mod by kyledavis. So the main, if you missed the first part, the main printer, which is just this half, is the Tiny-T developed by DoubleT over from the Voron Discord. And then this whole thing is called Twisted T. Just a random name that kind of defines a little bit twisted, right? So I did a little bit of work off stream, as I naturally do. I want to get this thing up and running as soon as possible, so I'm not going to show every single little step. But we got the Gantry installed. I was able to get that done. Luckily, I had the wrong size. Oh yeah, that's where I left off, I think. I had the wrong sized extrusion, so I had to cut a new one, but that's all installed. I'll give you some close-up views of that. So welcome in everyone viewing this live. We have Kali, I Created, Ram Online, Lost in Tech, 3D Pine Labs, Hesliz, Mr. Ed. Welcome on in every day. Yeah, Lost in Tech, I haven't seen your new video yet, but I plan on viewing it. And this is actually probably the first printer that I'll actually have set up with filtration. So the back panel of the printer will have some holes cut out. So it'll draw air in and then go through a filter and then spit it back out on the inside. So that'll maintain your chamber temps, but also filter the air with carbon medium. So that'll be interesting. Typically this is done with the Nevermore, and I don't think there's enough space in this design to incorporate a good size air cleaner. So that's why it sticks out the back. With this version, now all electronics are on the side, you can probably put a fancy bottom mounted air scrubber, like a little Nevermore. So lots of options for this build, since you're moving all the electronics on the side. It's not a Rook. Nope, it is not. This is a regular Voron Trident. Nothing special about it at all. Gotta figure out how to test carbon filtration. I believe the Nevermore team actually did it properly. I don't know, but you can just kind of... It's a bad test, but you can smell it. Just use a small meter. Probably like a particulate meter. Just a guess. I don't know. So, yeah. As you guys are rolling in, I have one thing to do probably before we start, and that is the bed. I'm probably going to skip ahead because I forgot to drill out the extrusion. So this extrusion will mount right here on the Z-axis, but then it also mounts with a blind joint. I can either use a blind joint or use corner brackets. So I'll let you guys decide if I should use a blind joint for the bed assembly or corner brackets. It makes no functional difference. The corner brackets will probably be a little stiffer. I think the regular Trident has a blind joint. Had to look it up behind me. So, yeah, I gotta do that. I think I have the other extrusion somewhere. Is it just this? Is that really the extrusion? Looks tiny. I guess so. Is it? Is that right? Is that really right? It might be. Just looks a little short. I'll have to verify that. But that's just a bed mount. You vote for blind joint. Might look neater. Actually, the corner brackets will look neater because they're internal. They're not, you know, they're all on the inside of the frame. You won't see it at all. Yeah, the bed should block it. Although, what does the bed look like on this printer? I've already forgotten. I haven't set up screen sharing either on this profile. But the regular Tiny-T. Oops, printers for ants. Well, okay, there's a whole front cover for it, so it doesn't matter either way. Yeah, corner bracket. I might just do corner bracket because I really don't feel like drilling a hole and cleaning it up. So, put that aside for now. In the future, I can always undo the bed, do a blind joint if I wanted, but corner brackets are probably fine. And they're actually going to be stronger. Hypothetically speaking. So we'll wait on that for now. I'm also going to check the CAD one more time. One thing I did off camera. Okay, I'll just go over all the stuff I've done since the last episode. So, here's the printer. It's looking pretty good. I think I mounted these. I don't know if I did them on camera or off camera, but those are mounted. And as you can see, the Voron logo is on the front, as it should be. So make sure when you're building a Voron that your Voron logo is on the front. And then your rails go on the inside. What have I done? What have I done? Well, this whole entire thing right here. So two main things. Number one, I completed the assembly for the Dragon Burner. So this is all set up to go. Shouldn't need to do anything else with that. I have to do wiring because there's a couple wires that need to be plugged in. So some custom wiring, just a little bit of wiring to do. Not a whole lot. I got the Hextruder low mounted. I am using a Moon's motor because that's what I had. And apparently the Moon's Pancake Nemo 14s are a little bit stronger than the LTOs. And we're trying to push as much plastic as possible with this, so every little drop counts. Otherwise, all the other motors are LDO. And then we have the can Toolhead PCB. This is mounted more or less temporarily because I couldn't find exactly what I wanted here. I might actually lower this whole thing so it's kind of more low. This is a more direct mount, but I won't be using the ADX cell that's built in for the main measurements. I have a special Provoke 3D nozzle mount ADXL. I can just plug that in, measure it once, and then use it. So it doesn't matter where this is located or how rigid it is. So just a standard mount will probably be fine. And I don't have to mount it like this. I can pick another mount. So this is kind of using the stock setup for a stealth burner. That's what you would have this part for. There's an extra hole too. But that's mounted here so we can do the wiring. I have to do some crimping on here. The other thing that I did, the most notable thing, is, see if I can show it. It might be a little hard. Right there. You saw this in the thumbnail, but we now have a clicky dock. Let's see if I can... Okay, there we go. So we have the clicky dock. This was custom created from scratch for this printer. So I designed this in Onshape using a measurement from the adjustable version. So I printed off a clicky PCB bracket, assembled it. I kind of measured how far it was off and then ran through a few iterations. And this leaves me with this. So there's a built-in mount for clicky PCB on the back of Golsifer's converted mount, and then this will come and hopefully line up pretty much perfectly. I can always adjust this in the future if needed, just reprint it, but should be good enough for now. What's a Twisted T? Twisted T is a mix of the Tiny-T, which is a Printers for Ants printer, and kyledavis's Sidepack. So the Voron Sidepack, or sorry, Trident Sidepack. So all the electronics are going to be mounted in here. I have to get a custom panel made for this section. It's just going to be a square with the corners cut out. Nothing crazy. Currently working on designing all of the printed parts for this. The linear... not rails, I'm currently still planning on mounting electronics on these rails, like this. So I have one at the top, or it'll go from the very top to the very bottom. So you'll be able to mount pretty much anything in here, depending on how much electronics you want to shove in. I will be able to put 2 full power supplies in here, and a control board, and still have plenty of leftover room. So I'm currently designing the files for that mounting. It'll be a combination mount for the DIN rails and be able to attach the panel. So that's coming still. I have to work on that. Otherwise, I'm planning on just getting the main motion system set up for now, and then really kind of take my time and design the perfect printer. Need the red DIN to match the printed parts. Oh yeah, that'd be cool, wouldn't it? Be very cool. I ordered a black one from DFH, so that should be shipping shortly. So that'll kind of blend in, I guess. And this whole thing will be lit up. We'll try to make it aesthetic. Maybe we'll make a DIN rail mount, like HueForge printable thing. There's a lot of stuff we can do with it. It's a Christmas printer. Oh yeah, I'm not using those rails. Those are just I was supposed to put those in my my 2.4, which is green. This is the West 3D 2.4. But I never got around to replacing the DIN rails. I didn't think it was necessary. So I should have got just regular space gray for those rails. That's okay. So today I got the shipment in for this. It was a good thing that I tested the fitment of the little mini V0 lead screw motors, because the LDO specific, I think they're one of the only people who actually make this lead screw, but LDO includes a T-shaped adapter, and Voron printers need this circular shaped. I was trying to talk a little bit about this on ModBot stream, but this is what I mean. You need this style coupler. Maybe not. So this will go on here, just like this, and there we go. Tiny-T, but this is pretty unique. Yeah, this is kind of... I mean, again, I'm building a Tiny-T, but with a different frame. That's really the basis of it. But it's going to be a little bit different on how it's not going to take the same exact parts, but it's going to be very, very close. Just kind of my spin on it. Thank you. Yeah, it's looking... In my opinion, it's looking pretty good. I'm using Polymaker's just standard red ASA for the main color, and my accent is Galaxy Dark Gray ABS. So that's this color. And the two paired together, I think it looks pretty nice. It's almost like classic Voron colors. If you had to... It's like in classic Voron, but inverted. So instead of a red accent, you have a gray accent. So today we are going to route the belts for the CoreXY system, mount the motors, and then work on the bed. That's the goal for today. Probably off camera, I'll work on the electronics, just because I want this to... I want to get as much tested on here as possible. I'll do all my main testing without panels, and then we'll do a stream where I install panels. I'll have custom panels made for this printer, and this is going to be my showpiece at Earth. So yes, this is confirmed going to Earth. I'm working on getting a table, but you'll see this somewhere, at least at the Polymaker table. So this is my fast printer. Let's talk about the toolhead. I'll take it off. This is all just kind of temporarily mounted. Find the right screws for everything. Not that one. So this mounts with two screws, which is kind of impressive because Stealth Printer mounts with 4. So this screws into the back plate. So if you want to remove this, especially with the CAN Toolhead PCB, you could unplug the whole entire PCB, one cable, and then unscrew this like this, and your toolhead comes off. Kind of cool. Like I said, I want to work a little bit with the design of the toolhead. I'm not a huge fan of how high the cable comes up and how much dead space there is behind. But if you ignore the CAN PCB, this is a very, very small but yet featureful toolhead. We have the Red Lizard Ultra High Flow, and I think I'm using the Rapido mount for this printer. Seems to work fine. The wiring, very tight. I had kind of an issue with it. It's very, very, very tight. So I had to invert so it folds down, and I'll have to have it come up at an angle like this. It does clear, but I just wanted to note that it's not the ideal routing. So we have that. Put the K1 toolhead on it. Yeah, right, honestly. But yeah, it's just 2 fans, 2 4010 fans. These are the higher powered, allegedly higher powered Fabrico Honey Badger fans. They're 24 volts, but they should push a fair amount of air. And because the fan is so close to the nozzle, I'm guessing we'll have pretty good cooling with just this toolhead. I've already run the setup on my Rook, and it's pretty good. Not amazing, but it's pretty good. And that's also why we're supplementing the cooling. I was saying last stream, we are going to be using the 60-15 fans on the side, just for starting. We might have to bump it up to 120mm blowers, but we'll have one of these on each side. None of these single-sided part fans that all these printers are including. I don't understand why they're single-sided. There's plenty of room to have a 2-sided cooler. They can run at lower speeds too to get the same amount of cooling. But 2 of these, and this will assist with high-speed printing in case we need them. So very simple design, very well designed. You can kind of just leave this in here, not attached. It just kind of goes in. I love it. And this will mount down on the bottom of the extrusion, just like so. So we're going to verify that that lines up. I might need to modify some stuff, but for now, we have this. And the actual toolhead itself is just this one piece. So I'm going to take this off. I have to run belts, so I have to take it off for that. Thank you. Yeah, I really like. Well, this is a Trident, so the design is going to be good to begin with. I'm just utilizing what's already there, and that's what sparked this printer. Is that I could use these stock Voron motor mounts, and if I need to, I can replace them with metal brackets in case these 2.8 amp motors get a little spicy. These are PC printed parts from Polymaker, so hopefully they'll be better than just regular ABS or ASA. But if they melt, we'll just replace them with metal. Metal usually doesn't melt. Hello, Medic. Thank you for stopping in. Other notable parts about the printer, I'm not sure if I fully mentioned them last time, but this is an MGN 9C. 9C carriage. Not a 9H as this printer would typically take. We're also not using, I don't even know what toolhead this printer takes. Actually, what is the stock? I have no idea what this printer is supposed to have for a toolhead. I just wanted to put on a dragon burner because I like it. It's like two parts to print. You have the main housing, and then the adapter, and I guess the 3 parts. It's like very little printing in this toolhead. I just wanted to get it installed, and I know it works well. You can say V2 is better than Trident. If I say that, Steve will show up. So yeah, I actually do like the design of the Voron 2.4 better than Trident. I think it's cooler to watch, and I like how the bed is fixed. I've said that multiple times. But for faster printing, Trident is better because the gantry is rigid mounted. Mini self-burner, probably, something like that. I'll wait until I build a actual V0. I'm currently trying to decide which kit that I want to build. I want to build one to have the trilogy of Trident 2.4 V0. Switchwire, probably not, unless they do a major revision. But I do want to have one because should be a fun little build, and I wanted to practice some videography on it. It wouldn't be a live stream, it'd be like just a build. So yeah, it's running this, and then Golstifer has made... This is actually the Rook adapter. So it even has the Rook logo on it. Oops. Is it going to focus? Probably not. Whatever. Here, I'll bring it way over here. Has the Rook logo, and like I was showing before, it has the built-in... It's camera, I swear. Oh, yeah, okay. Now it does it. Has the built-in clicky PCB mount. So I haven't screwed it in yet. I haven't put the heat set in. I'll need to do that, but that's built right into the toolhead. Just like that. Pretty simple. So we'll get the belts run and get all that stuff mounted. You're having a hassle with the new mini stealth printer. The front and back parts aren't matching well together. Ooh, that's rough. Yeah, Medic, just send me a file or a message. More of a micro what? Micro Sol 2? I don't know what that is. I honestly don't know. All I know is that I chose this because there are many options, and if I decide that I don't have enough flow, I can use a rapid burner, which is the same mount. I just take out the fans and put them in the new piece. But a rapid burner will allow me to do Goliath. So I could potentially have a Goliath in here if I need the extra flow. I haven't determined that yet. If I printed a stealth burner front using the bamboo, only to test high speed, I haven't printed a quality test on it. Because I print my good looking ABS parts in the Trident. But I printed one. The one that's on my printer was printed on the bamboo. It just has some defects because I printed it too fast. So, probably I'll run the belts first so that I can kind of lock the gantry behind when I work on the Z-axis. Normally, you do this after the Z, but I didn't have the Z, so we'll just do the gantry first. So I'll get some belts. I think these are gates. You get a weird line. Yeah, send me a picture. I can take a look. Okay, yeah, we have some Gates belts. So what I will typically do for these types of printers, it's a 3-step process for getting the belt length. Step 1 is to run one of the belt paths, cut the belt, take it off, and then cut an identical length of it, and then run them again. So, oh boy, how do I run this again? I think, yeah, we start here. Be a little hard to show as I do it, but we'll start on the front idler, push it through like this. Then we should be able to push this in here and it'll just pop out of the other side. Yeah, it does. So Rama idlers are very, very easy to run belts. I had a harder time on my Trident. You had to kind of fidget with it, but that just goes right through. If you've ever assembled a printer that, or like a Voron, either a 2.4 Trident, you'll know that it's a little bit difficult to run that belt. So we can run it like this. Got a lot of cable to deal with. Having to run pressure advance at 0.062 with LGX light and Rapido. Typically, I don't run it that high. And what I found is that the lower speed you go, the higher speed you go, the less pressure advance you need, because it'll naturally just not over extrude in the corners. Stop in and say you love the Dragon Burner. Awesome! Yes, Dragon Burner is pretty good, and it's just so simple. It's amazing. Okay, so we're running the top belt path right now. So the top will... or top or bottom? Bottom belt path, okay. So the bottom belt path will go through the motor. So it's very easy. You just stick the belt through here, pull it all the way. You stick it back through, and have it come out of this. Let me go to the overhead real quick. So you stick it so it comes out through this hole. Make sure that the belt is staying on top of this idler. Pull it out a little bit, run it back through. How do I run that? You can actually kind of cheat and run it up like this, and then back down, kind of like that. And then as you're pulling it, push it to the side, and it'll kind of just lock onto the idler, or sorry, the pulley. Yeah, there we go. So that's in, and then we're good. So that's a cheat, or a quick way of just running the belts. Sometimes people have problems running these belts. I don't know why, but it's a very, very easy and very clean belt path. So I gotta move this down, and this will run on the bottom pulley right here. Just push it through, and then, oops, knocking over stuff. And then this goes through, once again, just push it all the way through. And this will go on the bottom idler down here. So just kind of thread in at an angle. However you can get it in. This one's probably a bit more of a pain. Kind of just push it in, and it should pop out on the other side. Once it does, pull it like that. Now you want to make sure that every time you put the belt on, right now it's not actually on the idler. Make sure that the belt is on all of the idlers. It's not sticking halfway off, etc. And that's important when you, well, run the belt path. and it kind of pull in, and there we go. It's very tight. They optimized the belt path, so it's like right close to everything. It's very close. Okay, so now we should have the belts run. We are able to pull this back and forth like this, and the motor spins freely. Make sure that there's no resistance and it's all just good to go. And then I'm just going to double check on the back to make sure all the, everything is in place. So now this is where you cut it. You find your snips, and you want to leave enough slack. Typically, I'll leave a lot more than needed, and then just cut them after. But for this specific hot end mount, all we're doing is wrapping the belt through this hole, and we're going to zip tie it like this. So all we need is about, just that much. Not a whole lot of belt left over. We can't have a lot of belt left over. So it's going to have to be pretty short. Probably like that. So that means the belt will have to stick out like this. I'm going to make it a little longer to make it easier to assemble. But that's the goal. So on each side, I'll have it stick out, about that much. Just like that. And this goes for a standard Voron build too. So I'll have it stick out about that much. They'll give us plenty of slack. I'm just going to take this and cut it. Just a little long. Okay. So this is our belt. Now, take all the hard work you just did and undo it. Okay. Now we have this belt. This is the length of the belt that we need. We can take the regular, or this belt over here, and I have a specific method that I use for getting these aligned. I'll make the top belt a little bit overlapped by 1 notch. So I'll have it overlapped by 1 notch so that it's the same length. 1 centimeter too short. It's probably gonna be, right? I'll mess something up. But my top belt is overlapped. I'm gonna hold this together, kind of pinch it as I go, and I'm gonna run it down. And just keep the belt together. Kind of untangle it as I go. Keep it together. Keep it together. Keep it together. Until we get to the bottom. So I said that this top one is longer, so I'll need to have it 1 notch shorter on the bottom. So I'm going to cut it so that it's 1 notch shorter than the top or the other belt. And there we go. So now these are the same exact length of belt. And this is not, it's honestly not that important. As long as you get it close, you'll be fine. You're going to fix it in the tensioning, but it's best to have the belts the same length. Like, there's no reason to not have them the same length. Next printer, you're going to buy 115 meters of belt. Oh my god. 1,500 meter belt. That's a lot, man. So if you missed how to run the belts on the printer, maybe you've zoned out for a few minutes, we're going to do it again. Yay. The camera's going to focus wherever it wants to. So, I start from the tool head and work my way out on the idler side. Or the tensioner side. So once again, run your belt. Tooth side against the tooth idler. Kind of just press it and it'll come out. Grab it. This side, just press it in. It kind of goes in at a little bit of an angle. And then it pops out. Easy peasy. Take that, slide it behind the printed part. Easy. almost like I've done this a couple times. Take this belt, just kind of slide it through like this. We're on the bottom side right now. Hope you don't need a gauge high temp. No, I'm not doing high temp on this printer. Just standard enclosure temps. Wow, what is this even focusing on? Hello. There we go. I'm going to push it through all the way. I'm going to bring it up through the hole on the top. Pull it a little bit and then slide it back down. And as I'm pressing it in, I'm going to push it onto the pulley and then just kind of wiggle it around until it gets in place. Onto this idler, push it through, push it through. Then we're onto the tricky side. We have to push it. Oops. Sometimes it gets stuck in the extrusion. It's kind of a pain. Should pull the drawstring through the belt. Electrical stuff. Yeah, right. A pull cord. All right. So pull it more than you need. We got to push it through this bottom idler like that. Pull it out. Make sure it's through the idler, and then push it at an angle, kind of where the idler is, and it'll go through. Make sure that the pulley is on the idler. It's a very tight fit on the extrusion, so kind of just pull it tight and press it down, maybe wiggle it back and forth a bit. And there we go. So now we have the first belt run. Works good. There we go. Weird how CoreXY works, huh? Alright, belt 1 is done. Gonna kind of center them so they don't become undone. Then we can do belt 2. Belt 2, you're going to run in the opposite way. So we're going to start on this side and then put it into the idler. I don't know. Is it just as easy to press it from this side? I really don't know. Yeah, see, this is harder to do. So you see how I can't push it through on this side? It's kind of impossible. That's why you need to start with this front idler. By going through the tooth idler and then pressing it in, because it just kind of just routes itself. Easy. You just press it and there's no place for it to go except out. Belt on the self printer is locked by screw into the rail. Yeah, this one is zip tied because we're using the Rook system. Rooks use zip ties. How much you tension? I'll be honest. I don't have any special method. I don't use I just do it by feel. So a really good example of what belt tensions you need. If you have a bamboo, when it's not printing, strum the strings. They are really loose. They are not tight at all. So what you think you need for belt tension on a printer like this, it's significantly lower. You do not need a lot of tension. You essentially need just enough so that the belts make contact with the pulley and don't slip. Anything more than that, you're just causing extra strain in the system, and then that's not desirable. And also, there's no point of doing any tensioning until you've actually used the printer, because some of the parts will settle and you'll need to adjust it. That's been my experience. I get nearly perfect prints on all of my CoreXYs after, playing around with it and tuning it. So there's no real need to do a perfect tune for the belts, but the belts do have a tension spec, and that's why there are tensioning guides, because the actual belts want to be at a certain tension. More tension, more speed. More tension, less speed. Actually, it's weird. It's not how I would think about it. You like zip tie, turn 180, hook them together. Yep. So once again, we're going up through this little hole. Then as we tighten it, we're going to push it in. Kind of pull it back and forth to get it into the groove, and boom, done. Very easy. This one is the idler, so we're going on the top. And back to this side. We're going to press it through. Pull it. And then, without twisting it, push it through. This one's easier, actually. But just push it into the hole. There's no place for it to go. So it comes out. Hopefully that helps someone. This is the same way for any of the Voron Trident 2.4s. I'm guessing that the V0 also is similar. It's all the same belt path. But that is the Voron belt path. Rat rig, I think, is pretty similar. But the motor mounts will probably be different. It's faster because it's red. Exactly. Yep, it's faster. Actually, it'll run hot. The only reason why this printer is red, I didn't have a color scheme for it, and the only Polymax PC that I had was red. It could have been blue. It could have been gray. I don't know. Actually, it would have been better if I had like gray or black, because I could have chosen a different accent color. But it's fun that the accent color, or the main color, is the accent color. One thing I don't like about standard Voron builds is that there's so little accent color. It would be nice if the whole printer was, you know, a really cool color. On the Trident, there's no accent color. It's all just different colors. So if you add correct colors, it'll look pretty nice and tasteful. Rat rig's different because it has two belts on the back of the X Gantry. Yes, I'm used to that. I have an EVA 3 on my Simple Core. It's the same exact system, except instead of the belt on the front here, it's just on the back. I think it's better because it's a more balanced system. So you're pulling the part from both sides. This is on the top. You have this big square. It's slightly heavier than just mounting something directly to the front, but I think it'll add extra stiffness. That's just an assumption. I don't know. But I do kind of lean towards recommending a VZBot for speed printing versus a Voron Gantry. I don't have any, evidence or facts, but I think EVA is a better toolhead for that. And the VZ toolhead is really nice. It's engineered for high speed. Stealth Burner is just reliable and it looks cool. And a good mix of it is going to be the Dragon Burner. So it's a light-ish weight toolhead. It doesn't weigh too much. We'll be able to push this around pretty fast. And we're forcing it. We're not using the lighten everything, go CNC extrusion. We're just going to push it with more torque. So, the F equals MA, we're going to do the force, increase that. Is that a hextrude order on it? It is. My first time using it. It has a really cool system for the gears. They're helical drive gears for the filament instead of the standard BMG style. So these are all glorified BMGs, but there are slight differences in the way it tensions and the drive gears they use, but they're all essentially BMGs at the end of the day. How wide is the tool head? It's not that wide. Total width, I'm just going to count the fan to fan. Total width is 55-ish millimeters. 55. And nothing really sticks out too much. I don't know how wide the Stealth Burner is, but it's definitely narrower. I know you can mount one of these on a Rook 2020 and actually not lose any build volume. So that's why I put this on a Rook 2020. And that's why I recommend that as a default print head for 2020. Upgrade for a Tridex. Oh yeah, for sure. Yep. And there is boop for this system. So you can have dual boop, which is the smaller version of tap. Yeah, I would love to build a 500 VZ bot. That would be amazing. It's really big though. And when the V24 style printer comes out, so Voron's big printer, I might look into building that because that'll be 600 millimeters. And it has a 2.4 style bed, so there's no limitation for the actual bed. It can be as big and heavy as it wants to be. Alright, let's not get too sidetracked. This next part is pretty simple. There's two ways of attaching these belts. Option one is to print a part that slides onto the belt. You slide this through the hole, and then you slide or you put the belt on, and then you slide the piece over, and that locks it in. I'll be using zip ties because there's room for them, and I'm just going to use zip ties. So the first thing to do is get all the belts in. So 1, 2, don't twist the belts. Make sure they go in straight. I left way too much slack for this, but that's fine. We're just going to make sure that each length is equal. I'll show you my trick for this. We added extra length to make the wires slightly easier to pull. So that goes in like that. I'll grab some zip ties. Yes, this container is 3D printed. No, the zip ties are not 3D printed. So, pick one side, doesn't matter which one, and that will be your starting side. Pull the belts so that they only extend as much as you want. So just a little bit. Kind of like that. Sorry, it's a little hard to see. Maybe I can zoom in more. So get the belts to the rough size you want, sticking out, and then give the whole tool head a couple of screws. This is specific for the rook style of mounting. But get all those in so that the adapter doesn't move around. There we go. Then pick one of the... It'll kind of be hard to pull, but you can still pull it through. Get both of these pulled so that these are the same length sticking out. You want both of these belts to be the same. Remember, we're trying to get these belt lengths equal, so anything we cut off should be equal. So take one belt, run the zip tie from the top in through the belts, so it's just in between this top belt. Give it a zip tie so it makes a loop. I'm sure you know how to use the zip tie. And then fold the belt over. You want to zip tie it as close to the part as you can. And make it so the zip tie is in the middle of both belts. So when you zip tie them together, the zip ties will kind of be touching the ends of them. You don't want them sticking up so they don't interfere with anything. That should be the best spot for it. So there we go. That's zip tied in place. This is locked. It's not as good as like two parts meshed. And if you really want to, you can put two zip ties on it. Second one, do the same thing. Put it through just one of the belts. Make a loop. I'm going to flush cut this so it doesn't get in my way. And then slide this over. And just make sure that the belts are the same. It can be one tooth off. That'll be fine. It doesn't matter that much, because you'll end up tuning it anyway. So make sure they're the same and tighten this up. There we go. So now we have this installed, just like so. That's all tight. And that is our first first setup. I think with this one, you have to slide the belts like in all the way. I did stagger the zip ties so they're not overlapping. But this should be... No, okay, slightly overlapping. But this should be sufficient for this printer. You might want to have some more of an overlap for the belts. But this one's also coming up a bit, so let's make sure that the belt is on the idler. Make sure it doesn't ride up. There we go. Yeah, this is the last time to check. Make sure that all of your belts are in the idlers, not like a little bit off. So when you do the zip tying, everything is how it should be. So just double checking that all of these belts are where they're supposed to be, that it's on the pulley. It'd be kind of hard to mess that up, but everything looks good on here. The front idlers are good, and this is fine right here. So now we're set to do our initial tensioning. You don't want to tension it too much. You want to leave a little bit of slack so you can use the front tensioning system to tension the belts. I've said tension like 10,000 times. So the most important thing is that both of these belts are the same length. Right now they're not. So I'm going to just pull them until they're the same. There. So now there are, I think, maybe one off. But this will be fine. So I think they're pretty much perfect. Hold this in place by hand, and then I like to just kind of strum the belts. You know, how much tension is there? Right now, there's not much. But it's not super loose. This will be compensatable in the idlers, but I like to go about this much. Kind of like maybe one more on each side. There we go, one more tooth. Yeah, kind of like this. So pretty, not loose, but has some play, and then we'll adjust it in here. Worst case scenario is that we can just make it a little bit tighter, but we're going to tie these in. So it did unclick one. We'll have to re-click it in. So run the zip tie through. Form a loop. Run this through. Don't cut these yet. I know you'll be tempted to, but don't cut it yet. And then kind of give it that tension. So check it. We're on the top one right now, so make sure that it has, that's a little more like it, like this. Make sure it has a little bit of tightness to it, that's not super loose. And then zip tie. And then, for this one, you want to just make sure that they're the same length. This one's a little bit harder to do, because I already have it zip tied, but just kind of take it and make sure that it's good. So I need to pull it one more, like that. Gonna kind of overlap them and then make sure that they're the same length. I need to go get one more. Maybe. Also sanity check by just strumming on the belts. Feels close enough. That'll be good enough. We can adjust the tension from there. So holding all this in place. Yeah, I gotta run this belt first. I usually just pull it by hand, and as much as I can pull it, that's as much as it needs to be. Not scientific at all, I apologize, but making sure they're the same. Looks good to me. And then zip tie it. Don't zip tie over the other zip tie. Not the best. There we go. and stagger it. There we go. So now both those are on. I'll do the same-ish length. Let's see. Close enough. They're probably like 1 tooth off. So good enough for this. Now, we have our belts on. It works. We can move everything back and forth, etc. I haven't tightened this down yet. But now is when I want to do one of the bolts to get the tool head firm. Now, this is a good time to check the rough tensioning. Before you do all of this, make sure that your tensioners are on their loosest setting. I can show this one easier. So take your tensioners once the belt system is on and start tightening them. That's the wrong screw. Start tightening them. And you should theoretically not be able to fully, tension it. This right here is probably fine. Like whatever this is at right here for reference, this is probably exactly where it needs to be. Probably a little tighter, but we still have plenty of adjustment room that we can make this tighter. So that is good to go. I'm gonna do the same thing on the other side. Tension it a little bit by screwing it in, not out. You do not want too much tension on the system. Remember, these are printed parts. Too much tension is not great. That feels about right. Maybe even too much tension, so we're good. Is this tap? No, this is a custom adapter by Gulsifer for the Rook. So it's actually the stock Rook adapter, but using the clicky PCB mount. So I'm just going to loosen up the belts. No need for them to be fully tensioned yet. And then now that I know this is all good, I can tighten it in. If for some reason you need to retighten this, these are not cut yet, so you can go ahead and make it tighter just by hand. But it's all good. So I'm going to cut these a little bit wider than the zip tie. There we go. Trim all these zip ties off. And the zip tie comes right off. Oops. This is why you don't want to trim them completely flush, because sometimes they will break and you do have to redo this. Trident? Yes, this is a Trident. So I'll make sure that these are loose. This is also why you have the idlers loose. When you actually install these belts, you have enough play in them to where you can tighten them adequately. So, since I just cut these flush, I want to make sure that they're reinstalled flush. I'm using the really thin zip ties for some of these, so I might have to beef them up to the standard width ones. I just grabbed some random zip ties. Okay, try it again. Yep. Good enough for now. Yeah, there's our tool head. I can tighten all the screws, which will, I think, help hold the belts a little bit. Not 100% sure. That is our gantry. It does have a hole. I'm guessing this is for a clicky PCB. So when we run our wire, that'll route right through here. Be nice and neat. I'm not going to be wiring that today, but that's where I will be routing. So, because we have this adapter on it, we're able to put on a dragon burner. And you can use this adapter, which is available in printables. Remind me to link it in the video description, but it's just Gulsifer's dragon burner mount for Trident. Actually, there's a specific one for Trident. There's a couple different variations, so find the one that you find the one that you need. This is just the one that I had, and I know that it worked. And it had the built-in tap, or not tap, sorry, not tap, PCB clicky. A lot of the different carriages I found did not have support for PCB clicky. Why doesn't YouTube let you jump to the end of the live stream so you can see it built already? You're funny. I almost thought you were serious for a second. Oh man. Wiring for the tool head, I'm not 100% sure on. I'm not going to do fully today. I just want to focus on the mechanical parts. But I want to make sure off stream that it's wired the best that it possibly can be. Wiring on stream is usually a mess. So, the nicest thing about the tool head is that just 2 screws. Make sure no wires are overlapping. Make sure no nozzle cam wires are overlapping as well, if you have one. And then line it up and screw it in. Holds everything together very nicely, and it's honestly fairly rigid for what it is. I wouldn't expect just a 2-hole tool head to be so rigid, but it is. It's just a very good design. Technically, there's a 3rd hole, I think, but I'm not using it for this. And if you're running... the cool thing is, if you're running a V0 style gantry, or an actual V0, Fabrico has this one-piece CNC'd gantry adapter. So this is for top-mounted rails, MGN 7, I think, whatever stock V0 uses. Is it a 7? I don't know. Whatever V0 uses for their gantry. Maybe it's 9. But this will mount directly onto the Dragon Burner, and it's looks pretty nice. So I will try this out if I ever build a V0, which I do want to eventually, but not right this second. Yeah, 2 screws, and this is like, I'm moving it by hand. Let me hold the gantry in place. The actual extrusion, like this is as much as it'll play. This is just a fan shroud. If I go by here, it moves a little bit. Sure, it's not the most rigid in the world. It's not going to be perfectly rigid mounted. But for printing, this is more than sufficient. It'll be fine. If necessary, we can look at redesigning it to have a different style mount. Fabrico had one meant for front-mounted rails. Yeah. Well, reach out. Maybe they can make one. I have not built a V0. Those are the hardest Vorons to build, and the most unnecessary because of how small they are. So that's why I opted for the 2.4 first, because Bob from California very, very nicely and kindly provided the bed. So I had the bed, and I decided to build the printer around the bed. And then the Trident came along because you can't build a 2.4 without having a Trident. So that's why I had the 250 Trident and the 300 2.4. And because I have those printers, this is a 150. 120 is still small. It's fine for just some small prints, but I like the ability to do a larger print on it, or, you know, more than one print at once, which is faster than doing 2 smaller prints on, you know, starting a print and then having to wait for the chamber to cool down and starting another one. But no, I haven't built a V0 because yeah, I just haven't. I built Rooks instead. I don't print a lot of ABS, and I just need 1 ABS printer. Right now I have 2. I have the Trident, and I have a Bamboo, which can both do ABS. But yeah, I still firmly believe that a V0 is a weird machine, and it's a little bit unnecessary when Trident 250 exists. I would much rather build that than a V0. So, because the V0 was kind of hard to build, I didn't want to have that as my first, like, custom kit printer. Wanted to do the much easier Trident. Like, this is very, very easy to assemble. I think anyone can... anyone can cook. Anyone can build a Trident. It's even easier than 2.4. Cool. Well, Gantry's on. We're gonna backpedal to the Z-axis now. So typically, you'll do the Z-axis first, because now the gantry's in the way, especially with all these cables. I might just zip tie them out of the way. Let's see. Let's see if I can do that. Just kind of zip tie everything together. But yeah, I do kind of feel bad for people who want to build a custom printer, yay, and they pick a V0. Oh boy. It's... oh man. And then all I hear is, oh, I forgot to preload my nuts. Oh no. So if you're looking to build a small printer, do take a look at the regular Tiny-T, which is just this. It's still a small-ish printer, but you get 150 millimeters cube build volume instead of 120. It's going to print at the same speeds, but you'll get larger build volume. V0 is rapid prototyper. I know. For some people it makes sense to have, but I'd rather have an auto bed leveling printer that is a little bit bigger. But yeah, you can build one of the other printer for ants printers. I think the 2.4, the mini 2.4, which is a salad fork, not salad fork. Salad fork is a mini Trident, both 50/50 extrusions. The not salad fork, but Micron. The Micron Plus at 180 is my favorite small form factor printer. It's 180 millimeters. The bed's on the bottom like a 2.4. And I've seen in person, it's pretty small. Functionality wise, one of these style printers doesn't take up extra room versus a a V0. It just doesn't. You still need to access it. You still need to have it somewhere. Unless you're very cramped for space, I would just go for this style. Is there a GitHub link for the build you're doing? For the build, no. This is the first ever build of the Twisted T. I'm developing it as I go, but I've taken the Tiny-T and then just meshed it with Sidepack style extrusions. So if you're looking at the build, check out the Tiny-T. That's the closest thing, which is just a small Trident with different Gantry adapters because it uses smaller rails. Yeah, let's jump right into the Z-axis. Let me check on my printed parts, see what I have, and we'll get going. I am going to be using the standard Trident assembly guide. Another benefit of using this is that you're building a Trident. Just use the Trident manual. It's a very, very good manual. Alright, I have a bunch of parts. Let me find them. I've been going back and forth between using the Manta M8P and the M5P. And I'm going to stick with the M8P. Both of these support CAN. These are the latest versions. But the way that the cables for Ethernet and USB run, it'll be easier to integrate one of these larger boards because I'll be able to run. I think I'm going to have the Ethernet face up or down. Either way, it'll face up or down on the extrusion. And I'll be able to run an extension cable if I want to do Ethernet or USB. This uses 2020 extrusions, which again is the main reason why I'm building this. I cut all these extrusions myself. These are very easy to source, and you can just use standard T-nuts. I actually bought from West 3D a Trident fastener kit for this build. There you go. It's just a 2020 printer, and it's gonna be way more rigid than just a 5015. Okay, maybe not way more rigid, but more rigid. It's a larger extrusion. and the frame, I went over this in the first video, but the frame is more supported, so I believe that it's going to be more rigid for faster printing. And when I say fast printing, this is just for fun. Sure, if I want to have a rapid prototype part, I'll probably end up sending to this because it'll probably be my fastest printer. But at the end of the day, this will be practically the same as the Trident 250 that I have. So this is just for fun. We're going to push it and see what it can do. If I haven't mentioned it before, I don't really have a major use for this. It's just a really fun printer. The main inspiration was I wanted to run LDO's new superpower motors at pretty much max everything, max amps, max volts. So I needed to use a really solid motor mount, and that's what led me to use a standard Trident. Are you going to use a 0.4 for this? I will probably use a CHT style nozzle that's 0.5. So I have some, I'm not going to call it that, but it's a high flow nozzle with a 2-part insert. Those will have higher flow than an official CHT, and I'll be using a 0.5 on this. I've been testing out a 0.5 on the 2.4, and it's been pretty nice. I've noticed more flow capacity and no loss in no major loss in quality. So 0.5, more than enough for like 99% of these models, especially at speed. Where are they from? Just AliExpress. Building printers is actually the hobby. Yes, 100%. I have printers, and I've been printing a lot of things, but at the end of the day, I like building printers, and that's the main focus of this channel. Hedgehog makes printers. I have some larger projects that I want to do, but the printers are the main focus. Can't imagine 9mm is enough to stop vertical oscillation of the head. What do you mean by that? Did I miss something? Oh, is the hook in the mount at a 3rd or 4th? The hook in the mount. Which mount? Which mount for what? Put it 0.8. Yeah, well, this just takes standard V6 nozzles, so I can put whatever I want in here at the end of the day. Cool. Z-axis? Z-axis. Printed parts. So we have a few things here that I printed. I thought I had some covers somewhere. Let me look through all my boxes. Maybe it's in this box. Yeah. What the heck are these? So we have this piece right here. What is this? Oh, that's the rear. Okay, that goes on here. These are covers for the Z-axis. So I have 3 of those. I think that's all I need. I also have the front nameless idler covers. So those will go on like this. Right now they're just exposed. So we have that. So over here. These will probably go on after or before? How does that work? Why is there a hole here? I don't actually know what these are. Is this in the CAD? Maybe it is. Maybe you can install it after the fact? Oh, looks like you can. Alright. On my screen, I'm looking at the CAD for this printer. I just took a Tiny-T and then extended the extrusion. I don't see that. Unless it's on the bottom of the printer. Is that a printed part? Z assembly, Z right, NEMA, lead screw. Okay. I'm guessing that these go on after the fact, and they kind of slip on where the lead screw would go. Alright, cool. So I'm going to follow the standard manual for Trident, like I said before. I'm going to skip, I guess, up. I missed the Z-axis. There we go. So I'm at the joints. So I have my three joints right here. I will need these. I will also need my, I guess, bearings. So these are the bed bearings to allow for tramming without cracking parts. So I have those. I have this. I have a hex tray that is mostly empty. I guess I had 2 extra idlers. Got 2 just in case I needed extra. The first step will be getting the left joint. So this is the left joint right here. There's a nut that goes in. I'm going to do it last because you'll just drop the nut. So you have this piece. Then we have the accent piece. For looks. Just for looks. So that's this one right here. And this screws on just like the feet. So it uses those little M6 screws. Sorry, 6mm M3 screws. You know, nice touch. Just an accent piece that doesn't have to be here. This could have been printed at the same time. And doesn't really serve a purpose. Besides looking cool. How soft for 12? Oh, you're talking about an MGN 912 or MGN, yeah, MGN 9 rail. I see what you mean. Yeah, 12 would be stiffer, but for the size and weight, I think it'll be fine. We'll see. See how good we can get this printer. So that goes on like this. Make sure all the sides are flush. Looks really good. Like the color combo. Next, we need to install this. So this is the whole reason why I didn't do this last time. I got to install these round, they're called lead bolt nut. I don't think it's lead bolt nut. I think it's lead screw nut. The Trident. No, lead bolt nut. Lead bolt? Is this a lead bolt? Oh my god, is this the difference between like a screw and a bolt? It is a bolt, isn't it? Because it doesn't have a... screws have a pointed end, and a bolt has a flat end. I hate that. This is a lead bolt. Why? It makes sense, but why? Oh no. Okay. Well, we're gonna put our lead bolt nut on the bottom here. Oh, I do have a fastener for this too. There's some M3 lock nuts. Another reason why I purchased this kit. I'll just use all the fasteners in here. I'll have plenty extra, and all those unique ones I don't have to just buy a whole set of just to get a couple. Alright, here is our M3 lock nuts. I think the only time you use them is on the Z-axis. So I'll dump those in my hex tray. One more. And then we need some M3x12s. I don't have any of those out yet, so I'll find them. 3x16. Do I have 12s out? I don't think so, no. Let's see, 12. I'm trying not to dump these bags everywhere, because I know I lose stuff pretty easily. But I'll dump some 12s. What kit is it? There's no kit here. The only kit that I got was the fastener kit from West 3D. So if you want to check out West 3D, they did provide some parts at discount for this build, and I do have an affiliate link with them in the video description. So if you want to check them out, you can find all the information there. But I did buy their specific fastener kit. It's very similar to the LDO kit, from what I've seen, but just with their specific parts. So to install this lead bolt nut, you put the screws in from the top, right here. Just pick 2 of them. And these... Oh, that's the difference too. The T version of this with 2 holes, the one that comes with this lead screw, they have threads in them. This one does not have threads. That's also another difference between the 2 different styles. So this one, you will go like this. Actually, that nut sticks out a lot. You can probably get away with a 10mm. I'll just go with this, though. Doesn't matter. Does it matter? No, the whole thing sticks through. Doesn't matter. So then you'll put your lock nut on, and don't tighten it, but get it snug. So I'm just going to thread it on a little bit to get it started, and then put the other side on. You like to convert your KP3S to a Fraxness? Never need to pronounce that. But trying to get 50-15 extrusions is impossible here. Yeah, that's why you want to look at something like a Rook or one of Rolohan's printers. His printers are designed to use just random spare parts. Typically Enders, but similar situation. So right now we have it in, it's very loose, and these are quite difficult to screw in. You actually need to use a pair of pliers and screw it in. So you're not getting this tight. I'm just going to tighten it a little bit and then do the other one. I recommend owning a pair of flat-faced adjustable wrenches, or well, one adjustable wrench. This is useful for heater blocks, because it's flat and you can adjust it to exactly what you need. The toothed ones, water pump pliers, are great, but they really dig into the surface. No use 3D printer market where you are. Yeah. In the US, we're a little bit spoiled because a lot of people buy stuff, realize that they don't need it or can't figure it out, and then return it. So there are so many returns or just used printers in general. It is insane. But once again, I'm going to get these both so they're tight, but not tight. There's no vertical play, but it can still slide left to right. This kind of acts as a wobble wing where it can move. Right now it's locked in place, so there's absolutely no play in here. I don't want that. I want to loosen it a little bit. So there is just a little bit of play. So take your time to fine-tune the tightness of this. This is why you're using a lock nut here, so that it stays whatever you set it to. Alright, perfect. So this right here, maybe I can zoom in. Here, this right here has focus in this camera. I don't get it. Every time I go to manually focus, it just says, oh, I'll focus for you. There we go. So this right here has, let's see if I can show it, a little bit of play. See that? It's able to slide back and forth. But it's still snug to where it's not just going to rattle around, and it can't move up and down. So the reason for that is when you install the lead nut, I'm gonna keep calling it lead screw. When you install the lead screw, it'll self-center. So it'll go back and forth and self-center. And any wobble in it, which there shouldn't be, it'll be compensated by having this slightly loose. But because it can't move up and down, it's not going to affect your print quality. So it's a very good design, and honestly, I don't see a need for Wobble X in most cases. Wobble X is just a kinematic mount for this, but uses ball bearings instead of just plastic on plastic. But I've used this in the Trident, and it seems like it works well. You'd like to have a high-performance enclosed printer, so you modded the simple core, so it uses all the KP3S parts, and extras will be cheap. Oh, cool! Have you built that yet? That's interesting. Wobble X sounds cool. It does, but it's not necessary for a build like this. It really isn't. The stock design is plenty sufficient. It's very well designed. Whoever designed it, they did a good job. Alright. This is the left side. Yeah, it mounts like this. Like that. But, is there more to do? It wants us to do the left and right at the same time, and the rear. When does it want us to put the bed on? Oh, I guess when you attach the bed. Wow, do you do belts and then bed? Print bed. Yeah, okay. So you do the GE5C bearings last when you do the bed frame, which makes sense. So we'll ignore those for now. Go back up to the joints. So we have this one right here. I'm going to repeat the process for the other joint, which is this one, and then the rear. So I'm just going to work on those. I'll just zoom into my work surface, which is a little tiny desk right here. There we go. Hopefully start in a few months. Awesome. Well, there are a lot of designs now. In fact, the Rook 2020 seems to be a better starting point for a lot of these mods versus the regular Simple Core. But if you're going for enclosing, then yeah, Simple Core makes more sense. Just the stock one with belted Z. We have another one of those adapters or covers. Yeah, here it is. Building a custom VZ bot 180 all-wheel drive with parts from a KP3S. Oh, that is funny. That is too funny. I know it calls to put the M5 bolt in first, but it just falls out, so just put it in last. There's no point in putting it in now. I don't know why the instructions tell you to do that. So yeah, if you're looking to get more information for custom 3D printers, there are various Discords. I would recommend joining the Polymaker Discord first and talking in the custom printer section. There are people that'll redirect you to other Discords, etc. You can also join my Discord. The easiest way is to sign up for my Patreon, and that'll link you right to my Discord. Otherwise, do I have a link in the description? I'm not sure. I'm keeping it semi-closed. It's open if you ask, but I just want people that want to be there in the Discord at the time of this video. It'll probably be public eventually. But if you do want to support me, the best way to do so is on probably Patreon right now, or I do have a Printables account set up. you can support me on there. And before I forget, I do have merch. It is early. I just launched the store. But if you want to purchase merch, there will be a link in the video description. If one of my mods could post a link in the live stream chat, that would be good. I haven't put it in there yet. Yeah, there's merch now. So if you want to rock some Hedgehog Makes merch, go for it. All of the proceeds go right back into printer builds like this. So thank you to West 3D and LDO for providing parts for the build, but a lot of this was funded by myself, and I do all these printers as usually myself without having a direct kit. You sure about that? Sure about what? Sure about what? Alright, let's see. I want to get these symmetrical, so I have the bolts on inside like that. Oh, I should probably find my other nut. Where did I put those here? That screws in like that, like that. There's no easy way to show this on camera. But I'm just going to get this going. See if you made them correct. Oh, yeah. So, these were actually modified from the original file by kyledavis. Just added some extra holes, specifically this one right here. Should work fine. But we'll see. If not, I'll blame Kyle. It's usually the best way to go about things. So, thank you, Kyle, for helping with the custom sized rail parts for this. I'm using MGN 9C for everything because that's what West 3D stocks. So get these as tight as I can by hand, but then I'll have to go in and use a wrench to get it fully tight. But remember, you're leaving a little bit of wiggle room so that it can self-center when it's screwed in. USA is one thing over Canada. You have warmer areas. Warmer areas in the US. Too hot though. It's like 100 degrees some places right now. Crazy hot. I live in Maine, so it's reasonable temperatures usually. Except the winter it can get a little cold. I don't remember having this much trouble on my Trident. I don't know what I did differently. Oh, my screw just came off. Okay, wrong way. They should be loose enough so they can slide. Yeah, I already kind of went over that when I did the other one. And I even gave a demo. So go back in the video if you're watching this live, if you want to see the demonstration on how tight they should be and why it does it. Shipping costs definitely hurts Canadians. Yeah, it's rough. Shipping costs are just brutal everywhere. The US is very, very privileged for a lot of the shipping. And the speed of shipping too, it's just kind of crazy. I have come to respect shipping a lot more printer parts though, because a lot of things will come from, you know, directly from AliExpress or from other vendors. Even inside of the US, there are smaller companies that can't do Amazon shipping. You know, so they're not lightning fast. So I'm used to just 1 week shipping for everything, especially living in Maine. I'm used to it. Let's make sure these are loose, but not too loose. Snug. Snug is the word. You want it snug, but not tight. And these are palm nuts because we're using LDO's coated lead nut. This is the coated lead nut. So you don't want to use a standard brass coupler. You want to use a palm. And they come with palm ones, but they're the T style. Got a bamboo hot end. Yeah, bamboo hot ends are kind of becoming popular because of their availability, ironically. Because bamboo printers are global, they want to make their source, their replacement parts global. So that allows just another couple sets of parts. I've seen some nozzle wiping mods going around where you just use a bamboo nozzle wiper, nozzle scrubber. That seems like a good solution. Alright, let's see. Can I move this by hand? I can. I'm gonna leave it like that for now. It'll probably be fine. A little bit of play. They're great for cheap states. Yeah, it's a really cheap hot end. It's not high flow, but it's higher flow than like a V6. Like, okay, it's technically high flow, but it's not ultra high flow or ultra high flow. Pretty good solution. And the bamboo hot ends are nice because the nozzle's integrated. You don't have to worry about, installing a nozzle with CHT. Yeah, so you got the version that supports a replacement nozzle. Those are going around too. Alright, this rear one, they tell you exactly where they want the screws. They don't give you an option for some reason. Probably because of the width constraint. I'll grab my last one on here. Medium flow bamboo. Well, I don't know. What is a low flow hot end? What do you consider low? Because I'm sure there's something slower than a... Oops, wrong way. Slower than a V6. V6 is like a benchmark, from what I understand. Revo. Not low flow. Any less than 8. Yeah, like what hot end has a max flow of 8 millimeters cubed for like PLA? Are there any hot ends that are that bad? Stock Creality performs about the same as a V6. Tops max those are like 12 millimeters cubed. Flash Forge. Really? It's actually a lot easier. There's no bottom part. There's no special adapter. Actually, you know what? When you assemble this, put this gray part on after you do the nut. So that way you can easier access the... This is kind of recessed, so it's a little bit hard to get a wrench on. Having this fully open will make it easier to install. Clogged V6? Okay, sure. Less than 15 is slow for you? Yeah. It's crazy how fast hot ends have gotten. And stock hot ends are no longer acceptable for a lot of these speed printing enthusiasts. The stock hot end is around a volcano now in terms of flow. Which is pretty cool. High flow hot ends do have their advantage because they have more capacity. The variation in printing extrusion, like inconsistent extrusion, will be minimal compared to a lower flow hot end. You have more of a buffer for heat, so the actual printing temperature will remain more consistent with the volcano or just higher flow style hot end. So a couple advantages to high flow. Faster internal features. Should really make a video going over some of the random things that I've learned and experienced, because I actually have played around with a lot of different styles of hot ends, extruders, more than some of the content creators. It seems kind of crazy, but I'm messing around with kind of, hobbyist grade stuff. Like, ooh, there's a new hot end, I'm gonna try it. Whereas content creators are like, new hot end, can I make content on it? So I'm in this kind of unique position where I'm not a content creator, but I am. I'm creating content, but I'm not a content creator. So I don't have to get the latest thing, but it's fun. So I just have a different use case. Cool. This is a lot easier to show, but there's a little bit of play, but it's tight on here. Yeah, much easier to do without those printed parts. So don't install the M5 and don't install this whole thing until you have these couplers on. If you're building a Trident. On an old 2014 printer bot kit. Ooh, was there a bad nozzle or bad hot end on there? Well, MGN 12 mount to 2020. Okay, so MGN 9 is where you have to worry. Because it's the same width as this hole, it's slightly bigger. Oops. It's slightly bigger than the hole here. So if it's not centered, it'll fall into the frame. If you have a V slot, the rail will sit in the V instead of sitting on here, or it'll be very close and there's very little surface area. So for MGN 9, if this is what you're, you have to mount it on 2020 or smaller. For MGN 12, because the rails are so much thicker, you can mount them on a V-slot 2020 extrusion. That's why you can get around with some of the Ender 3 mods where you just slap a extrusion on the front frame. Or sorry, slap a rail on the front extrusion. Just works. PrinterBot. What is PrinterBot? Did we already look at that at one point? It's in a box of many pieces. Oof. Was that the weird printer we looked at a while ago? It was like a wooden frame. Like one of the original Rep style printers. It's funny. What step is next? Do we mount the... Yeah, we probably have to mount these on the carriage. So let's do that. I'll move the camera up a little bit. The actual part that I want is dark. Oops, that's extra dark. Come on now. I need a camera person. It'd be kind of cool if I can give somebody access to like my camera and they could remotely control the camera. That would be really cool. Be like a camera operator but from far away. One of these days that'll be a thing. It probably already is. But for live streams and stuff, we have moderators, but now we want like camera operators. No mods, no camera person. Liz, can you post the link to my merch store? I don't think that got posted yet. So if anyone's interested in purchasing some merchandise, note that everything at the time of this live stream is in beta. So if you want to be one of the first people to beta test my merch, there you go. Otherwise, if you're watching this in the future, everything will be great. I forgot to pay you. I'll pay you in merch. How's that sound? PrinterBot. We saw it one, really retro. Yeah, there's a lot of cool old designs of printers. It's a good idea to look at old designs and figure out why companies did things the way that they did, and just puts newer printers in perspective and how much better they are. Let's see. Let's see if this blends. So the actual carriage is smaller than this part, so it doesn't really matter what the hole spacing is. So there you go, Kyle. It works. You could honestly redesign this whole part to just be smaller. I don't know what the limit is. No, the limit isn't the printed part. Maybe on the Z travel. So if this right here was mounted lower and flush with the bottom here, you might get extra Z travel. See? But that's a non-issue, really. You lose a little bit of a few millimeters of travel. Merch needs Z and Z. Yes! If you have any suggestions for merch you would like to see, let me know and I can add it to the store. Nero's Ultimaker build is gonna need Elmer's glue. No, just glue, painter's tape. So it'll be a PLA printer, and you'll use painter's tape. It's kind of genius. You can even use Kapton tape. They sell them in large, like 12-inch squares that you can apply. The carriage isn't falling to the bottom of the rail. It's because of thick grease. Oh, like this? Yeah. A properly spec'd rail should be stiff, but it should still be smooth. If you have a rail and just falls, that's too low preload for a 3D printer. For the Z, it doesn't matter as much, but you should be able to hold any of your rails up, and the carriage should stay. It shouldn't fall down. So some rails do come with a lower preload, and they're okay, but they do cause issues when you try to run a input shaping test on them. There we go. Nice and smooth. Not that it would have changed anything. But as you tighten these rails, you do want to run them back and forth. You want to make sure to not over tighten them, not over constrain them. Just tight enough. That's all you need. Perfect. If it wiggles, toss it. Well, yeah, if it wiggles, definitely toss it. Or if it's crunchy, like if you feel it and it goes like crunch, crunch, crunch. Oof. Yeah, that's not good. Let's see if I can get this one on camera. See. Come on now. So I said this in my Trident. Actually, I don't think I did the Z-axis for my Trident on camera, so if you're wondering how to do a Z-axis on a Trident, it's essentially this. But what I was discovering when I was building it is this is so simple. It's very, very well designed. A Trident uses as much space as it possibly can, or essentially that much. Like the motor is mounted as far into the corners as it can go. Where the rails are situated very, very close, so there's very little play in here. There's just it's well designed. And after designing my own Z-axis for a printer, this is really, really nice. It's a lot better than my standard one where the rails are just attached to the frame and they're just floating. They're not even on an extrusion, the rails are floating. Just simple core things. Alright, cool. So these are in. Just like that. Perfect. So they should go top to bottom. Like that. And I have a stopper on the top so it doesn't go all the way to the top. So then just one more on the back. Yes, you did the mod correct. I don't think it would be hard to mess it up, honestly. You'd have to get the hole spacing wrong. But yeah, good job, Kyle. You successfully moved the holes a little bit. Seems to be working out. We're going smaller on the carriage. If we went bigger, we might run into issues. But because we went smaller, I think it works out. It's probably best to assemble this with the printed part on the bottom. Is that right? That's not right. Let me guess. 8. M3 by 8 for the back. That way everything stays square. Mellow Halo screen. What is that? I don't know a lot about Mellow parts. Everyone keeps talking about Mellow, but I don't have a lot of their stuff. The first parts that I have from them, well, it's just the VZ extruder. That's it. Fat rig rails. do this, no movement in space, but they feel low resistance. You mean that they don't fall when you hold it up in air? Yeah, that's how it should be. When you grease it, right? You want to have grease. Remember, you don't use oil on ball bearings, you use grease. Specifically, the internally circulating ones. Use a thick grease. For the rails themselves, like this, something exposed, that's where you want to use an oil or a non-stick something. Probably just an oil, provide some anti-rust prevention. Nomi with touchscreen that can do clipper screen functions. Oh, so they just... Wait, does Nomi not... Is that not a touchscreen? I thought it was a touchscreen. Is it not a touchscreen? I don't understand Toolhead mount screens. That doesn't make a lot of sense for me. It's kind of in the same class of the Anchor printer, where the screen moves up and down the gantry. Like, why? Why would you want that? Oh, Nomi doesn't have touch. Oh, okay. Interesting. I did not know that. Did not know that. Alright, so that's all of the rails. Everything goes good. Perfect. So let's do the lead bolts. Lead bolts. Lead bolt time, I'm guessing. Flip upside down. That makes a lot of sense. Or we can put it on the side. Let's do that for camera purposes. Halo is for your V0. And wall mount. Well, will mount on a top hat. It's a tiny screen. Oh, okay. Cool. I have the BTT SPI 35, which will be for this printer. So these are pretty easy. Compared to a standard Trident lead nut. Should I call them lead nuts just for fun, or continue to call them lead screws like everyone else in the world? I kind of want to call them lead nuts. That's what the Voron manual says. It's a lead nut. But yeah, it's so small, and these are like little pancake motors for space, but it's not needed for this build, technically. Pretty simple. You just have everything completely out of frame. Put up a little. These nuts. Spin nuts. Was I supposed to put the motor on first? Before the feet? Or can we get away with it? I think the feet go on last, actually. Will that not work with the feet? Doesn't look like it. It was at this moment that he realized he messed up. Well, just this one. So let's remove it. Man, this is like the weird one that goes in an angle. I want to strip it. I don't actually have a ball end this size. Is it going? Or is it stripping? Can't tell. Huh. It should work. Yeah, let's... I'll thread... I can't thread it in because it gets stuck. It needs to go into here. I don't think it'll work. It's hitting on this corner piece right here. Are your logos facing it right? Yes, they are. Yes, they are. We had the motivation I did. Well, my motivation that I'm doing it live, so I have to do it. That's the motivation. And coffee. Lots of coffee. Yeah, I don't think this will work. It just won't. So, I'll have to remove... Find a way to remove that. I might have to use a little... Wow. Oh, that is loose. Okay, I got it loose. I do not like how there's no access hole for this. Oh, and is this access hole blocked now? Damn, it is. Because I screwed in the feet. Alright, so I gotta take the feet off. Not the feet, but the... maybe the feet? Take the feet off. And that will probably fall. Yeah, okay, so just remove the foot. And then remove... this guy. And that should be fine. Insert this. Screw it in a little bit. There we go. And I'm gonna face the... yeah, I'm gonna face the cable so it comes this way. So that it leaves this whole area in the middle open. So, just screw it in until it starts coming... oh, there goes the nut. Starts coming to me. Like that, and I can go around the other side and screw it in. That is disappeared. Can't see what the issue is the lead screw. Yeah, because of the shorter feet, it was just interfering with the printed part. I couldn't, like, angle it to get it in correct. Because when this is in, it hits this part. Because it's, like, it's literally right behind it. So it's impossible. Alright, for this, we need M3x12s right here. I'll just attach 2 for now and then follow through with the rest of them. Get that in. I'm gonna do them loose and then tighten up after. You don't want to get this snug yet. Lube. You don't lube the lead bolt. Not if it's coated. Remember, don't lube a coated lead bolt. You probably can, but not necessary. Now that this is in, we can tighten back this, which needs a... oh, the screw is in here. What fell then? Oh, the screw fell. Okay. Not the nut, the screw. So this has to, like, slide through the hole. A little awkward. I did this originally upside down. Oh boy. Might have to tilt it upside down just so I can... okay, now I lost that. I'll find it later. Okay, so we need to... this one. I'll put this back in. The little cutout. I am screwing this in, trying to get it in place. I like the short feet because it makes the whole printer shorter, but it's a little bit harder to install these, just like a little bit. Very small bit. Mildly annoying. Okay. Well, I'm gonna try to get this in. It does not want to go in for some reason. There we go. Get that in, press it up, slide over. Okay, cool. Tighten it. Good. Get lined up. And then this one goes like this. Just tight enough, don't strip it. Then flip it back on this side. So you guys can see what I'm doing. No, it goes. Yeah, there we go. Beautiful. Cat hairs everywhere. I swear. And then this one needs a screw for the feet. And a knot because I dropped it. Oh, Ginger heard her name. Hey, buddy. How's it going? Are you here to inspect the printer? Okay. That's one in. Pretty cool. It's even a little bit too... like, it could go higher? That's weird. I feel like it could go higher. In fact... See, there is extra room. Oh, it probably doesn't need to because of the... Oh yeah, that's way up there. Yeah, never mind. There's far extra. But we're not going to hit max build height because of the distance from this nozzle right here to this right here. That's normal. Okay. Yeah, not utilizing the whole thing. Cool. Well, I can slide it back and forth, and the actual lead screw is straight. So we know that's good. And I love that you can actually do this. It's because these are so low torque motors that you can just spin them by hand. I have a similar thing going on with my simple core. Because my bed is so heavy, you can actually just push the gantry down. Cool. So that's in. Let me flip this back on its side so we can continue putting in our lead nuts. So we have a poodle. No shedding. Nice. Alright, and Ginger's gone. Ginger is not interested today. Does not want to inspect the printer. So slide it through a little bit. Point the motor in the right direction. Whatever direction you want it to point. And then screw it in. Just loose. We'll get it tight once the printer's upright. And you can do this part upside down, too. Make it slightly easier. Actually, no, this is probably the best way to do it. On its side, yeah, definitely. Manual tells you to do it upside down, but hard to screw in screws upside down. Last one. Should be around here somewhere. Here it is. So I did purchase these lead screws from West3D. If you want to purchase your own for your own custom printer, West3D does sell these individually. And I just got 3 of them. You can't buy a V0 kit because those will come with one of these, and it'll come with motors you don't need. So you have to find a reseller like West3D that sells them individually. Hey Swans, how's it going? Welcome in. See. Should this face this way? No, we're gonna face the cable sideways so it comes out at an angle. Maybe. Which way should the... I mean, the electronics are here, so it makes sense for that to be like that. But I might put a cable channel down here. I don't know. I'll face it forward. Screw it. Good enough. Not a permanent installation. Still working on developing the whole cable management, cable routing, all electronics for this specific build. So stay tuned for that. And it looks good. Good. So now let's put it on its feet and then put the rest of the screws in. Gotta find some more. These are 12mm. 12mm. I dumped out a couple, but not a lot. Should have dumped out more. Did I click them out? I did. Your Trident is printing. And I said the Voron Cube looks like crap, has a lot of Z banding. Oh, interesting. Now, what did you go with for a kit, if you did a kit? How does the bed attach to this? It's a Trident, so we're going to have the same style. Okay, yeah, same style of Trident mount. It's just a small Trident. Same exact G5 bearings. GE5, GC5. The weird bearings that go this way instead of just this way. I can never remember what they're called. Just make a bunch of numbers and it makes it sound correct. So I'm gonna screw this up all the way so I can get these in. Let's get them all loose. What's the best way to center the motor? Center on like the printed part so it feels like it doesn't have any play in either direction. Because, you know, you can still move it. Or leave it slightly loose so it can oscillate. That's an option. Or move it all the way to the bottom and then to the top again. And then whatever the heck it is. Kit? Oh, no, no kit. Okay. Mostly West 3D with the Z motors are step online. Okay. Yeah, if you have any questions for printing, tuning, etc., I'm not an expert, but there are people in the Voron Discord that might be able to help you. Just note that any advice that you get will vary greatly person to person. But one of the helpful things that I do is join the Voron Discord voice chat. And occasionally, you know, you can get into a good discussion about printing and mods and stuff like that. Haven't even looked at Ellis's guide. Okay. Where can you get those hex screwdrivers? These, you can get them on AliExpress. These were included in an Alien 3D monthly kit. So I do subscribe to the Alien 3D box. So make sure to check that out if you want random projects every month, usually electronics projects that you print the parts for and assemble. They're a lot of fun. I am an avid collector of the kits. I don't really do the kits very much, but they are a lot of fun. Hey, Maker Viking, how's it going? Alright, Pezlis, thank you for tuning in and modding. Let's see. So I'm checking for resistance to make sure that it's the same. Generally, you don't want to do this either, because that's not how rails are. Actually, is that fine? Normally, it wants to push on the screw the bearing. Trying my best to move this by hand, but it's fine. It's fine. That's good now. Last one we have to do is over here. My wobbly desk. I actually used some flow tests to level this out at one point. I don't have that anymore. Okay, get that one in. And that one. They're all good enough. Move this back and forth. Moves freely. Moves freely. Aha. So this one, maybe I can capture some camera. Take a look right here. Watch the tip of it. See how when I screw it back and forth, this moves a little bit this way? That's because this motor needs to shift to the front, most likely. So I need to loosen up the motor and shift it a little bit more towards the front. See. Now it goes to the back as it goes forward. Oh, other way, actually. Yeah, shift it towards the front. There we go. Better. And you see that slight tilt? That's why you have this coupler a little bit loose. It allows for it to, you know, move back and forth. Just a little bit. To counter any of that inaccuracy. It'll be fine for my purposes. So that's good. Same thing on there. It'll be fine. It's fine. Everything moves smooth at least. And hopefully everything is parallel-ish. Parallel-ish. Alright. So that is the Z-axis. Minus the bed. The next step is to... actually, we'll put these on. They're covers. I guess they just go on like this. There must be another part that goes on it too. But I'm guessing that they go like that. Does it go like that? Doesn't really seem... doesn't seem correct. Seems like you lose a lot of print volume with it. But that does seem like where it goes. I don't know. I'll leave them off. We're already constrained enough. That would be great for like the Trident, because it's so tall. I'm never gonna max out the bed like ever. All right, so the bed. Oh yeah, I wanted to verify the extrusion length. It didn't look correct, but this is a tiny printer. I'm gonna move all of the axes down to the bottom. Axes? Is that the right word? Probably not. Couplers. Print bed. Alright. Alright, so we need some nuts on there. But once again, I'm gonna check the extrusion length for the bed. See what size it needs to be. 132. Okay, so this should be a 132. It's slightly shorter than the 140 on the back. It just looks so small, doesn't it? It looks tiny. But it is what it is. So the bed, we do need to get this T assembly done first. And like I said earlier, I'm just going to use corner brackets because I didn't do a blind joint screw on here. So we need to make this happen. Let's find some blind joints, some corner brackets, and assemble this. We'll pick the cleanest face for the front. And then find some of those brackets. Got a bunch of them. I think they're down here. Oh, I used them to assemble the frame temporarily, so they should be actually very close. Where the heck did I put those? One of these miscellaneous boxes. I just need two. That's it, just two of them. Yeah, probably in one of the boxes. Does it have any? Nope. I'll have one stream where I have all the stuff prepared. I promise. One day. Not today. One day. I swear, I always have them when I'm not needing them. Like, I find them everywhere. They come with the rail kits that they get, or the extrusion kits. When you need them most, they dashed. Very interesting. Very interesting. Here's some. Alright. So what we're gonna do that is not stock for a Trident is, instead of blind jointing them together, we're going to mount them with two brackets like this. I am doing this purely because this is a much stronger mount, and not because I forgot to drill out the hole for this. Totally not the reason. It's definitely stronger to do it this way. Actually, it might be stronger. I don't know. More points of contact. So for this, we do need M5 rolling nuts. We're gonna mount it. Ooh, do these work with these style? I don't know if they do. Yeah, they do. Okay. I'll put one in, and then the other. And then these take a M5 by 10. M5 by 10. Maybe 8. Whatever length this is too long. So it's a shorter version of this. I think the ones I have are black. Yeah, whatever these black ones are. Well, that's is that 6mm? 6 or 5? I think that's actually 6. These ones. You have hundreds of coupons to send out, so obviously open YouTube to find an excuse to not do it. Yeah. Well, thank you. I have even more to send if that makes you feel better. Welcome in, Polymaker. My filament of choice for these builds is, of course, Polymaker. What's that? Oh, these are M6. Oh, damn it. These are used for the frame assembly. Yes, I do love myself some Polymakers. Very, very good, reliable filament for whatever your needs are. It can't help me find bolts, though. That's on me. What is this? Is this the bag I just had, or is this another bag? These are long, whatever they are. Too long. Too long. Too long. Especially 50% deals. Well, 50% deal is nice because it's just a single coupon. Need to make your Australia distributor stock more of the range. You can try reaching out to any of your local distributors / resellers, whatever. If you have a specific filament that you want, chances are they just don't know. And a lot of people stock stuff only when you ask, right? That's how I get all this random stuff from West 3D. I tell them, hey, can you stock this very specific part that probably only me and a couple other people will need? And they're like, yeah, let's do it. And it gets stocked. Like, that's how it works. Sometimes even they'll do that as a loss leader just to make the customer happy. Okay. Now I can't find the screws I need for this. Maybe there's some in here. This is not going well. Should be very easy to do this. M5 by 8, I think, for these. M5 by 8. I have a bunch. I just don't know where they are, because that's how it goes. Okay. Happy face. Yes, that's how I feel. Happy face. That is my emotion right now. Just generic happy face. Oh, good. Okay, I have a bunch in this kit. Good, good. We are good. We'll use some of the silver ones to match the rest of the colors, even though it doesn't matter a lot. Alright, so using the right size screw, we can now screw it in. So I'm just going to loosely assemble those like that, and then put the nuts into here. Like this one, Zombie 49 now in the last 30 minutes. You like that? Cool. Pretty cool. Where did these go? Let's line up these nuts. Wait, what is that? Did Polymaker just drop a 49% off coupon for their US and Canada stores in chat? Available for 30 minutes? Very cool. Thank you. Thank you, thank you. Yeah, no, seriously. Go check out their new Neon ABS if you're looking for printer part materials and you want just more variety. The neon is cool because it glows in the dark. I'm wondering what would happen if you had a black light in your printer and then you're able to like light up the printed parts with the black light. There's like a lot of cool stuff you can do with it. So I'm excited to try that out. Oh, I'm not excited to get this centered though. I'm gonna do my best. You don't need more filament. Oh, you need more filament. You do. Oh, you want to see some cool Polymaker? We'll do a quick detour. Very quick. Actually, this is the first time of me seeing it. What's the difference between a black light, UV light, or blue light? A black light is UV. Right? Right? How'd this turn out? Oh my god. That is gorgeous. Okay. So I got a new sheet for my bamboo. It is a PEO. Actually got one for the 2.4 as well. But this is PEO. It's a different material, a different plastic that leaves a really cool texture on your bottom sheet. Or the bottom of your bed. So, do you want to see what happens when you print it with a multicolor print on a bamboo. Look at that. This is the Z and Z light box. Printed in all Polymaker colors. And will be backlit. That is truly, truly incredible. You cannot make it look like this if you tried, like modeling it. It almost looks 3D, but it's flat. It has a glass finish, a little bit glossy. And I used a Galaxy PLA, Galaxy Black PLA for the base, so it has a little bit of extra sparkle too. I love that. Amazon says code invalid. us.polymaker.com if you're looking to use the 49% coupon in chat. us.polymaker. Yeah, that's really cool. And this was cheap. Like, I'm talking, I think it was less than $40 for 2 sheets. Less than 40. Let's see. I'll make sure I'm following the instructions right. So do I have the right length extrusion? Okay. I think so. You popped in and thought it said Z lied. No, this is the Z and Z logo for the Z and Z show over on Twitch. It's nice. Oh wow, this yellow does not look right on camera. That's kind of crazy. This camera, Canon cameras can't do yellow. It's always about the colors, right? There we go. That's a bit more accurate. This is the lemon yellow. Pretty cool. So I'll put that in the back and have it lit up. It's very reflective though. That's the only issue, and one of the reasons why I don't love smooth sheets very much. Did you pin the coupon? Yeah, I can. I can do that. There we go. What else I miss? When is the oh, the coming to Canada? Okay, gotcha. Yeah. Hopefully Canada will be very close to getting the same materials, the same dates as the US. Got another 10 rolls of draft PLA for $86. Oh my god. Yeah. If you're looking for some just very inexpensive filament that works well, I do like the draft PLA. I do. It's essentially Polyterra, but black, and prints on it gonna have that carbon fiber finish where you can't see any layers. Just don't use it for like building printers and rooks and stuff. It's great for prototyping. In fact, I've used draft PLA a lot for prototyping for different rook printers, because I'm not going to print off a 200 gram print in my nice fancy filament. I'll print it off in the draft PLA. That's the whole point of it. So great use for that. What I'm doing now is just getting the extrusion parallel to each other, coplanar. So I'm going to press it against the bed and tighten this up. So I'm getting this whole setup right here tight, and then I'm going to slide it back and forth to center it. Yeah, if you have any ideas for Polymaker products, the Discord is very active, like extremely active, and many people give many suggestions. Whether or not they'll make it to see the light of day, who knows? But who knows? You might have the best idea ever that no one's ever thought of, like rainbow ABS. Invalid. on the US website, us.polymaker.com. That feels good. So now I'm going to loosen up this right here. And then center it. The way that I'll center is using my calipers. I'm going to measure one side. Oh, jeez. I'm going to get it like rough. I'm going to measure it one side and then compare that against the other side and see what direction I need to go in. So it helps if I turn it on. Usually a good starting point. And I'm going to measure it like this. Did you know that you can use this part of your caliper right here to measure against the end of here? It's probably one of the best ways to use a set of calipers. Because if you try to do this, it is so annoying. It's unnecessarily annoying. So I like doing it like this. Okay, we're at 99.04. And this side we're less. So we need to shift it this way a little. Okay. I want to make it parallel at the same time by just putting it flat against the bed. Checking out prime link. Oh, I don't know if you can do that. I think it has to be... I don't think you can use the prime checkout. Just use the standard shipping. I think you probably have to order a minimum of $75 after the coupon, so around $150 pre-coupon, and it'll give you free shipping anyway. And anything purchased on Polymaker's website does go through Amazon anyway, so you'll get the same shipping. And by the way, if you haven't purchased yet and you want to use my affiliate code, that is in the video description. What is this? I hope that works with the coupons, though. All the cool kids were getting Polymaker affiliate links, so I decided to as well. Why is this like this? Why is it being weird? Honestly, it just doesn't have to be perfect. But I want it to be close-ish to perfect. Whatever, as long as it's centered. Doesn't matter. Does it work on the Canada site? Yes, it should. Most of Polymaker's deals and coupons are available in US or Canada. Most of the time. 97.5 and 97. We're very close. So I need to slide this over a very, very small amount. In fact, 97.5. This needs to read 97.25. $97.25. I'm gonna get close. It's not gonna be perfect. Whoops. 97. There. Somewhere around like right here. Okay. Cool. What's the minute order? I believe for the special Polymaker coupons, it's $75 after the coupon. So you get free shipping. There were too many people forgetting that if you only buy one spool, you still have to pay for shipping. Alright, so we got 97.3 and 97.1. That's close enough. Close enough. There we go. This is our very sturdy bed mount on purpose. Not because I forgot to drill a blind hole. Not at all. So, how do you mount this? Well, let me go to the manual. Mrs. woke up real quick. Oh, she usually lurks. Life pro tip. Instead of just like saying, alright, I'm gonna lurk and then leaving, just leave the stream on for a little bit and actually lurk. So lurking is kind of roaming and maybe listening to it, but you know, if someone asks you a question, you might not respond. So just kind of lay around. Oh, hello, 3D Musketeers. Grant. Liz pulled you out of bed for your coupon. Are you missing something to use it? You tried in the PLA Pro. Still not valid. When did it start? When did it start? It worked for you. Make sure that it's, if it's still valid, make sure that it's over $150 before the coupon. Otherwise, I don't know. I could try it. Is there a minimum dollar? There usually is, yes. Let me see. Let's see. What's my favorite filament? 4 rolls. 4 rolls. Ooh, let's say Starlight. Let's say 4 rolls of Starlight Neptune. Does that work? 150 before it kicks in. Ah, okay. Yeah, that would make sense. So that is about 6 rolls of filament. Or, yeah, 6 rolls. Which is still, like, a very good price. It's kind of insane. So thank you once again, Polymaker. Making a few people's nights. Alright, so this mounts... okay, I should be fine. I'm gonna double check. Yeah, that's correct. Okay, it just looked really short. Like a really short extrusion. But it makes sense. You don't need more filament? You do, though. That's the issue. Have you seen the new Neon ABS that they're offering? Neon ABS? I don't think you have. Come on, you're a print farm. You need filament. You need some Neon ABS. I'm actually very excited for it. And what I'm most excited for is the rest of the Starlight line. Oh my god. I love Starlight so much, and I want the rest of it. It's like a teaser just to have a couple. But like the rest of this color, it just has such a cool effect in real life. And these are the most plain colors. Oh man. By the way, I'll be finishing that boat for Earth, and that'll be somewhere. You upload? Oh, you uploaded the Starlight pictures? Oh, I can't share my screen, but I want to look. We're taking a slight detour. Starlight PLA. Oh yes. Wow. So we have Comet, which is a green purple. Meteor, which is a green purple ish. They're similar, but they're different. Aurora, which is a green blue. Oh wow, those all look so good. There's Nebula, which is a purple green, and then Twilight. Oh yeah, Twilight's the one I like. It's blue to purple. Gorgeous. Gorgeous. So, light pro tip, make sure to click notify me when available, and as soon as it comes in stock, use my affiliate code in the description and purchase it. Am I doing the advertising right? Or am I not supposed to say that in affiliate code? What are some PLA-CF and PA12CF? Those cannot be any, like, different. Like, complete opposite spectrums. I love it. Need some in Twilight? Oh. Oh, yeah. I'll definitely be getting all the Starlight colors. That is a line that I want to have all the colors in. What? I was gonna put something. Oh, yeah, this. I printed the screw organizer right here in the Starlight Neptune and Neptune and what's the white one? Mercury. And I did it on the PEO sheet, so it gave that cool texture. I just think it's the coolest thing ever. Like, all my prints will look like this. Okay, not every single one. I still like texture PEI, but for when I want a really unique cover piece that's shiny, well, there you go. Looks good. Hey, Papa Bear, how's it going? Oh, yes, Phil. That's a good point. If you're watching this live, Fadus is doing some competition where they're giving away a bunch of stuff. And they're, like, guaranteeing some filament as a prize. And I think maybe t-shirts, too. I'm honestly more interested in the t-shirts. But make sure to check that out. Fadus is running a competition. I think it's till the end of the month. It's a long competition. Hey, Nathan. What are we doing? Polymaker got distracted with the coupon. Is that still... When did that start? I have no timestamps. Let me know when the coupon stops working, and I'll remove that from the pin. $10 minutes? Alright, you have about 5 more minutes to place your order. So how's it going in the land of Polymaker? Any special new products being developed? All the products? I'm very excited for more gradient filaments. I love the gradient effect. Sometimes I like the look of a gradient more than a dual. So more gradients, more rainbows. That is my vote. You can see what the t-shirt looks like. I don't know either. Six-rolled, $88. Wow. Again, if I can make a suggestion, the Starlight line, just gorgeous. Pick up some Galaxy ABS. Galaxy Dark Blue. It's still my favorite color, regardless. It's a very dark blue, you know. It's not quite blue, it's like blue-purple. But this is still one of my favorites. Especially because of the glitter. It's not just white glitter. I love Galaxy Dark Blue. Have a massive new product coming soon. Oh, okay. Alright. Very cool. Very cool. Articulated dragons print well in gradient. Yes, yes they do. Actually, they also print well with dual. One of the first things I did with my dual silks... Wow, that's been a while since dual silk's been out. I printed off some dragons, and when you print off a dragon in a circle, it like... It's... How do I explain it? It prints, so half of it is one color, half is the other color, but when you straighten something that's curved, it just has a cool effect. So, yes, there are some cases where a dual looks cool, but in general, I do like gradients. Oh, okay. Alright. So, a secret project coming out. Any ETA for that secret project? I'm still wondering. You don't have to say anything. That's fine. PLA heavyweight? PLA heavy? Is there a use case for just, like, really heavy filament? What's the most dense filament? Oh, what is this setup? It's like a M3 and 2 M5s. November? Oh, wow, November. Wow. Very cool. Metal filled? Is it? Like if you want an actual paperweight, what filament do you use? One of the most dense filaments that I know is Polyterra at around 1.31 density units. Something like that. %% infill metal. Yeah, just metal. Okay. Yeah, I'm just gonna throw some metal in my printer. Can Undertaker print tungsten filled filament? Alright. Thank you, Polymaker. Thank you for the coupon. You should have a couple more minutes to place an order. There's a link down in the video description that links to the site via my affiliate code, but the coupon code is linked in the chat. Make sure to spend at least $150 pre-coupon. Pre-coupon. But everyone say thank you, Polymaker, as I continue with this build. Alright, there are some additional... do I have any cable thingies? Do I need anything? I don't think I need any additional screws on here. "3D Musketeer stack catching more filament deals." Oh, it's hard. Like at this point, I have a full kitchen rack full of filament. It's kind of crazy. It's nice to have options. It's very nice. That's the only reason why I have a wide variety, is when I'm doing a project, I want to pick the perfect filament for it. Sometimes someone will ask like, hey, you know, what does this filament look like? And I could just print it and show you in whatever model you want. So that's fun to do. Oh, this is what I was trying to show off. Okay, yeah, this is the really cool print that was done in Polymaker filament, if you're still around. I don't know if I shared this yet, but this is a Fix Some Dudes cement mixer. Cement mixer? Concrete mixer? Is it concrete mixer or cement mixer? But yeah, this is both Starlight colors, Neptune and Jupiter, and oh my god, does that look just gorgeous. Painted on the bamboo. It looks so good. I love the look of just like 2 color prints. It just looks so much better than single color. You know, a lot of single color stuff looks fine, but multicolor printing, so good. Wish your bamboo would work. You just gotta stop living in Florida. Have you done any Fab 365 models? I don't think so. I do have a 3D sets, the little mini 3D sets car. Oh, I should build that and bring that to Earth. Duh. Okay, add that to my list of stuff to do for Earth. It's a little remote control truck. Every single color, it's crazy unreliable. Bamboo's work. Oh, I'm sorry that you're still running into issues. If you missed it, I just printed this off on my bamboo. Just, you know, a casual 8-color print. Yeah. Just amazing reliability, and even the print quality after you tune, pretty good. Pretty good. Alright, it's cool. So now we're finally... Oh god. The stream's gone a little bit later than I expected. That's okay. But we need our Z-mounts. Did I print Z-mounts? Did I not print my Z-mounts? Oh, it's possible that I forgot to print something. Unless they're in here. I might not have printed those. All right. Well, yeah, I did not print those. Go figure. So I forgot to print out the thing that mounts the bed to here. Oh, I'll zoom out a little. Bamboo's not responding to tickets anymore. Yeah, I had a call with Bamboo a while back, and one of their main focuses is just getting support. They sold so many printers, and it's an entry-level printer, so everyone's gonna have issues with it for one way or another. And just filtering between different people's requests, I just cannot even imagine how much support they need. Man. No Z-mounts for you. Yeah, it does not look like it. So, this is to be a no-bed printer. We'll just make spaghetti. So, if this was a bed, it would mount like this. I could kind of mount the bed. So we are using a Mandela Roseworks bed. The middle screw fell out, so I'm not using that for now. Yeah, we'll just use it like this. Oh, I gotta order the PEI too. Some of the support people are rude. Yeah, again, it's very unfortunate that you're having that experience, and hopefully they're gonna be able to resolve that going forward. I think it is partially due to, like, you know, they're a small company, so their customer support agents are just not trained like larger companies. But yeah, that's definitely unacceptable if they're, you know, being rude. Speaking of Bamboo, though, apparently they are releasing a new printer that'll have Ethernet. I heard it, I don't know where I heard that, but I think Ethernet might be in the future, which will be cool for like print farms, etc., where you don't want to run 1,000 printers with Wi-Fi. Okay, let's mount just like this on the bed using the standard Trident style mount. And then this will go in like this. Now, because I think the salad fork is a little different, so it doesn't use the same exact hole pattern, but this is the very specific Tiny-T bed that Mandela offers. And it has the locating pins in the back, which will be nice. And I'll go in like that. So, pretty cool. I will do this off stream, so we'll get the bed mounted. I will finish doing the wiring for the tool head. It's going to involve just tedious crimping and stuff. Other than that, I need to design a custom panel for the interior, finish out the wiring plan, and yeah, go from there. So nothing has really been designed for this half of the printer. A rough layout has been developed, but I gotta get with the design team and kind of nail down a plan. Most of it's going to be me doing CAD, probably, or at least a mock-up. But front skirt with 3 intake fans, a TFT 35 SPI screen for the top, and then the top panel, we haven't really finalized it yet. We can either go with one solid acrylic panel, or do a panel over just the top section, and then do some like mesh on the top for this right here. Either do a mesh, or I was thinking a filament holder could be cool. Something like like this, where it sits in the printer. Actually, you could probably push down like quite a bit, but have it sit on top of the printer right here, and have it feed down and then back. That would be kind of cool. So I'll play around with some different designs and go from there. This is the first of its kind, so there's a lot of options, and I want to add as many features as possible. No, they're not RGB fans. They're not RGB. Yeah, that code is probably done now, so I will unpin it. So hopefully you all got a good chance to get some filament. Once again, thank you to Polymaker for providing the code. More RGB. Well, actually, there will be RGB. It's supposed to go in the back, right? The stock mount would be right here. So the spool would go like this. That could work, but you got to reach around the printer, and then feeding filament from the back of the printer up through the tube is kind of a pain. So feeding it like that down would be a lot easier. And since the printer is so low, it could work out well. Two options. Lots of options. Yeah, that's it. I'm going to redesign this thing right here. I just wanted something basic to test, but now that the dimensions are very easy, this whole thing is pretty easy. So making a new adapter for the can board, that will go into a mount right here. So it'll like loop over. There's going to be a top hat to give that extra clearance needed. Anything else kind of weird on the printer? Not really. There's going to be nothing on the bottom. Absolutely empty. Just some wires. So all the wires for the motors will come en route. I'll probably put one cable channel down the very middle of the bottom panel to allow for wiring. And then the bottom here, there's going to be some type of inlet thingy. But we'll see. A couple people used it. Nice, nice. Thank you, Liz. All right. Well, does anyone have any questions before we end this episode? I don't have a lot more I can do on camera. This is pretty much it. I think we made a lot of good progress today, and I'm very excited to have this thing printing. I'll have it printing before all the panels get on. Use the affiliate link. I don't know if that works with coupons. It might not. But if it does, well, we'll test it out. Do you ever sleep? That's a great question. Does anyone else have any questions? I'm impressed that I was able to design a printed part in CAD. Do I have any extras? Yeah, right here. I designed this. Right here. Look at that. I designed it from scratch. I copied an existing part, did some measurements, and built this non-shape. So this is a fixed clicky mount. That goes right in the back of an extrusion. Printed really clean on the Trident. In Galaxy dark gray ABS. It's not actually that dark, but it's gray ABS. The Galaxy. Ooh, it looks really good. So yeah, right here. This is the clicky dock. So the magnet goes like this, and there's going to be a built-in mount on the bottom of the tool head just for that, which I have to continue designing. No boop. Nope. This is a speed-based printer, and I wanted a rigid tool head. Although, if you wanted to build this for yourself, you could put boop on it. It does support this specific tool head, Dragon Burner. Cool. Well, I'll close this off by saying thank you to LTO for sending over the 2 rear motors for the build. Yes. Oh, I just printed this, so I haven't showed this off yet. Thank you to the Z and Z show for being a thing. Monday nights on Twitch, on either twitch.tv/zombiehedgehog or Hezliz. You can check out our fun little show. If I can get an angle where this works. There we go. This is all printed in Polymaker filament, so thank you to Polymaker for supporting the channel with filament, and thank you for the code today. That was a lot of fun. What else? West 3D did provide discounted parts for this build, and they do support the channel, so check them out with an affiliate link in the description. Other companies that I purchased parts from include Fabrico, DFH, and I will be working with KB3D for some panels and maybe some custom stuff. I think it covers everything. Otherwise, thank you all for tuning in for the build. Oh, I have merch. So I'll post the link one more time in the live description, or the live chat, but in the video description there will be a link. Go check out my new merch. If you like ModBot's merch, it is the exact same vendor, so same high quality stuff. I love the hats. I love my ModBot hat, so I'll be excited to get a Hedgehog Makes hat. Yeah, I'll see you guys in a later video. I'm not sure when I'll have an update for this, but if you want to catch more generic live content, make sure to check out my Twitch channel at twitch.tv/zombiehedgehog. Yeah, I'll set up stream elements in this as well. I used to just do YouTube for very basic things, but I've been starting to do more build series on here because it's just recorded. I don't have to deal with it either. But yeah, I'm excited for this build. If you're interested in building this, once this goes live, the CAD and stuff, well, the CAD is mostly... There'll be a specific GitHub for this. I'm not sure who's going to host it, but I'll put that in the video description when that exists. Otherwise, you can sign up for my Patreon and ping me there in my Discord channel. So, yeah. If you want to catch some more videos, make sure to check out Lost in Tech. He has some very good videos. Make sure to check out his TPU videos. He has a whole series on that. TPU is a very interesting material, and he makes it fun. So, that being said, have a great night. Check out all the things, do all the things, like the video. Oh yeah, you forgot to like it. Like, there's a like button down there. I'll give you a couple seconds. There, click that button. Sorry, Ian. Yeah, sorry, no, the coupon is Dunzo. I don't control it. Thank you all for tuning in. Catch you in another stream. Goodbye. You gotta be watching live for the coupons. Live! I know, it's hard. I stream at, like, late night my time. Hey, this is the part of the stream where I can pretend to leave, but I can still talk. I can say anything I want. Yeah, K2 Kevin says, like. All the likes. You're already subscribed. But, you know, you can always subscribe again. Can you subscribe again? Nah, just subscribe once. Or like once, too. You can like once, you can like 3 times, you can like 5 times. Don't like in even increments, though. Bye!